What is up, you guys? In today's video I have for you a tutorial on this beautiful fall deep purple little bit of gold eyeshadow look. I have been extremely inspired by fall looks recently, especially purple for some reason, and I've been really wanting to push myself to use more color. So that's what I have for you guys today. Yeah, if you want to know how I got this look, then keep on watching. Okay, so I already started one eye off camera to help save us some time. So the look's gonna start out looking something like this. There's gonna be some extras in there, but that's gonna have to wait until the very end. So yeah, I already started one eye. So what we're gonna start with for this eye is we're gonna prime, and I'm going to prime with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer. And we're going to take that concealer on my lid. I already did my eyebrows, just cause that helps like me frame where everything's going to go. So we're going to take that concealer and we're going to blend it into the lid, and then we're going to set that concealer with just some powder. I'm going to be taking the Maybelline Fit Me Powder, and I'm just going to be using that on the Morphe sponge. It's dry. I feel like when I set my lid with the sponge dry, it just works better. It helps like really pack the powder in there as opposed to when it's wet, so that's why it's dry. Okay, now that my eyelid is primed, I'm going to be taking a shade out of the Jaclyn Hill palette, and I'm gonna be taking that shade on a Morphe M504 brush. And I'm just going to dip into that shade pretty generously, and I'm just going to be buffing that into my crease as a transition shade. And I'm going to be taking it pretty far outside of my lid space. And don't be afraid to take it out too far, because we don't have our foundation on yet. We can clean that up with a makeup wipe later like I did on this side. Alright, now that we have that color on there, I know it looks completely different from what this side looks like, but we're going to be using quite a bit different shades for this look. Lots of going back and forth in between different palettes. So okay, so for the next shade, I'm going to be taking Fresh Meat, Extraction, and Coma, and I'm going to be dipping into those just a little bit into each color on a Morphe M441 brush. We're going to take that shade lower than in the transition area and really keep it low and tight. You don't want to go too crazy because we want to keep most of the darkness on the outer corner. And then when there's not very much left on the brush, we're going to start to blend that into the inner corner. And then you're also going to take that shade and bring it out here as well. Okay, once we have that color blended to our liking, I'm going to be taking more of Extraction and Coma, the deeper shades in there, on an Morphe R37 brush, and really just dab it onto the very, very tip of that brush. And we're going to take that even lower in the crease. And really focusing on keeping it, like I said, more on the outer corner where we want most of the color deposited. And then when there's very little left on that brush, we are going to bring it in to the inner corner. So make sure to keep it really, really low in that crease. You don't want to bring it up very high because then everything's going to look muddy really, really quick. And like the other shades before, don't be afraid to drag it out here. All right, once that's blended out, this is the part where it's gonna get a little bit intimidating. I was even intimidated when I did this. I put the color on my lid and I was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. But I actually like how this side turned out, so we're going to do it. Now we're gonna be taking a shade out of the Kat Von D Chrysalis Palette. And we're gonna be taking that color on an M433 brush. It's just a little bit tighter and denser. And like before, just on the very, very tip of that brush, you don't wanna get too much color on there because this, like I said, can get muddy really, really quick, especially because we're working now with a deeper purple. And you're gonna keep that even lower. And like the other colors, keep it more on the outer corner. Really work on just getting the color on your lid. And when you feel like there isn't very much left on your brush, you're going to bring it in to the inner corner. And if you're having trouble blending, a trick that I picked up from Nikki Tutorials actually is to take a really, really small blender brush, kind of like this one. This is the M506. There's no product on this brush whatsoever. And you can just go over the edges with the very, very tip of that brush and help kind of blend out that color that you just put down. And then I'm gonna go back in with that color in the Kat Von D Chrysalis palette and deepen up everything once again. And don't be afraid to stop midway of applying the colors and take that little tiny M506 brush and help blend out with those colors. That made no sense, but you get what I mean. All right, and now I'm gonna be taking the Lunar Beauty Life's a Drag palette, and I'm going to be dipping into the shade Trade. I'm going to be taking that color on the brush that comes with the palette, and I'm going to be using the more fluffy side, and I'm going to dip into Trade like before with just the very, very tip of that brush. Really knock off the excess, and you're going to keep this extremely low, almost on the lid. We're gonna go in with this color all over the lid here in a second, but this just helps blend it into the colors that are already on the eye. Now I'm gonna take Trade yet again, and I'm going to actually use my middle finger, and I'm actually gonna pack this color right on my lid with my finger. And then you can take your makeup wipe with your finger and just and wipe and kind of get the shape that you want to get. All right, now that the eyes are complete, I'm going to quickly off camera do my base, and then I'll come back and do the rest with you guys. Okay, we're back. So I just quickly put on some Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation, and I set that all with the Maybelline Fit Me Powder. So for the lower lash line, I am just going to be taking that same shade from the Jaclyn Hill palette that we started with, and I'm going to be taking that shade on a teeny tiny little pencil brush. This is the Morphe E18, and I'm going to use it on the very, very tip of that brush, and I'm going to be applying that to the lower lash line. And I'm going to bring it up to connect to the shadow on the upper lash line, the lid. Focusing it mostly on the outer corner, but when there's very little left on the brush, I'm going to bring it all the way and stop where basically the lashes will end on my eye. And I want the lower lash line to be pretty smoked out on the bottom. So don't be afraid to bring it there. All right, and then on an even smaller pencil brush, this is that one that we used to blend out the harsh lines, the E36. I'm going to be taking Fresh Meat Extraction and Coma from the Blood Sugar Jeffree Star Cosmetics palette and keeping it closer to my lower lash line. So I feel like it needs a little bit more depth closer to the lash line. So I'm going to be taking Trade, once again, from the Life's a Drag Lunar Beauty palette, and I'm going to be taking that on a really, really tight definer brush. This is the Morphe M432, and I'm going to get really, really tight on my lash line and blending that in. So I really want to add more definition to this look. Some liner in the waterline would look really, really great, but for some reason I don't have any black liner. I don't know why. So what I'm going to be doing instead is taking that definition brush, once again that M432, and taking this shade from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette, and I'm going to get very, very close to my waterline and put this in my waterline. I don't recommend that you do this. It's probably going to be very, 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 very uncomfortable for you if you have a dark black liner, or even like a plummy liner. That would look really, really pretty, but for some reason I don't have one. And then I'm going to take that same shade and line my top lash line. Just really, really close to the lashes. Kind of just like stamping it and then wiggling it back and forth. Like I said, this would be much easier if you had a pencil liner or a gel liner, but I for some reason don't have one, so. And for the inner corner, I'm going to first put down Donor from the Blood Sugar Jeffree Star Cosmetics palette, and I'm going to be using the brush that comes with the Lunar Beauty palette, and I'm going to be using the flatter packing side. I'm going to dip into that color, and then I'm going to hit it with some setting spray. I'm going to put that in my inner corner. And I'm going to connect that with the purple on my lower lash line. And then I'm going to take Legendary from the Life's a Drag Lunar Beauty palette on a teeny tiny little brush. This is the M2113. And I'm going to dip into that shade and also spray it with some setting spray and put it right over top of Donor. I'm going to put some mascara and some lashes on off camera, and then I'll be right back to finish the face. Okay, I'm finally back. As you can tell by the lighting situation, that took me a while. But they're on. These aren't the lashes that I wanted to use, but they're the lashes that are on. These are the, I want to say the Kiss. I don't know, they're the drugstore lashes that I got. I can't remember the name of, but they're in the style Trillion. So just try to find ones from the Walmart with the name Trillion on them. They're really cute, they're really pretty, really comfortable. I really like them, like really. So I'm going to finish my face. First I am going to bronze using the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer with a Morphe R2 brush. And then I'm going to contour a little bit with the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. And I'm going to take a mix between these two shades. And I'm going to take that on a Morphe R10 brush. And I'm gonna keep that really low and just back here. I don't wanna contour too much. Just a little fall appropriateness. And then I'm going to blush using the Tarte Blush palette, and I'm going to be using the shade Love. And I'm going to take that on a Morphe R530 brush. And then I'm gonna bake for a little bit to sharpen up that contour just a hair. And I'm going to take the Fit Me powder, setting powder, go right underneath that bronzer and that contour. For my highlighter, I'm gonna go in with Ultraviolet Amethyst with a more precise sponge. Just right on the very, very high points. Ooh, yes. And then I'm gonna kick off that bake with a Morphe M437 brush. And then for my lips today, I'm going to be taking the Velour Liquid Lipstick by Jeffree Star Cosmetics in the shade Leo. And that, you guys, completes today's look. Alright, you guys, I hope you liked today's dramatic fall bold purple gold lusciousness I have going on here. If you guys did like today's video, please give it a like and subscribe to my channel. Like I say in every video, I am a growing channel, and every single subscribe, like, share, comment, all of that good jazz means the absolute world to me. Yeah, I will see you guys in next Friday's video. Bye, guys.
Cause aside from my soul,